Good Tuesday morning. I'm Gabe DeArmond. Welcome into the Tuesday Tiger Recruiting Show, aptly named, I thought, since it is Tuesday, presented by Brandon Barnes and USA Mortgage. We will get into what is going to be a busy couple weeks here in Mizzou recruiting shortly, but first do want to remind you that if you've got any home needs, any refinance needs, anything like that, mortgage needs, you need to talk to Brandon Barnes, a mortgage banker over at USA Mortgage in Columbia. He's located here in town, but anywhere in the state of Missouri, he's licensed to take care of you. So you can give him a call, 818-2772-590-0001. And you can go online at showmemortgage.com and you can get a free quote on there. Brandon's got the best rates in town. He's got the best customer service in town, and he's the only mortgage banker I know who would probably be willing to talk to you about Mizzou recruiting if that's a thing that you're interested in. There may be other ones. I don't know about them. So give Brandon a shot at your business first. And we're going to bring in Tyrone Williams now, our recruiting editor. And Sean, I have a feeling this might be our most popular show here for the next 2-3 weeks. So no pressure, man, but everybody's watching this week. Oh, Sean's gone. I don't know what happened, but Sean gave up on us, so I am going to have to get back in touch with him, and we will get back to Sean shortly. But we'll go ahead and start here with me for now, and I will try to carry the show and try to give you guys all of my knowledge, which is a thing that I have a lot of, obviously. So we're going to start with Justin, and he wants to know if we are still planning to go to East St. Louis to cover his announcement. We are. We were actually talking on the show beforehand, or on the, off air before the show began. And the plan right now is for both of us to be in East St. Louis next Tuesday at East St. Louis High School. Now, we don't know exactly what time that is, but when we will find out this week what time it is, and when we do find that out, our plan is to be there. Now, as I have said, we are, we're part of a network, so I am going regardless. If I find out that it is Georgia before he announces, I am still absolutely going to go to the meeting. Okay, so hopefully we are both still on here. I see me, so if for some reason I have dropped off, you're going to need to tell me that I have dropped off. I see Sean.
Wait a minute. This is weird.
Sean,
technology is weird.
Can you see me?
I can see you.
Okay. You are on our screen. So hopefully this is working. I joined a call with you. I don't know. Somebody needs to put it in the comments if it's... Nobody has told me they can't see or hear me, so I guess this is working. This is live internet, man. It's fantastic. I don't know what's going on. But
so, Gabe, I got a question for you. Can you see me?
I can. Yeah.
It's interesting because I can see you. I can't see me. I have a black screen.
You're here.
On me.
You're
Whatever,
here.
Man. All right, let's go with it.
It's working. Yeah. So, hey, this is our best show yet. But anyway, let's get back to, I was talking about, Justin had asked if we were going to East St. Louis. I said yes. I am going to be going regardless. So just because I am going, do not take that necessarily to mean he is going to Missouri. This is the number 6 kid in the country. Rivals need somebody to be there. I will be there. Sean will probably be there. We're going, but we don't know now where he's going. And we may not know on Tuesday morning where he's going, to be quite honest.
Yeah, it's going to be probably one of those situations. I don't think there's going to be a ton of, hand tipping, when it comes to this decision. I think I can honestly see this just being, it's going to be a toss-up and nobody's going to really know until he announces it because, I think, with somebody rated that high, you don't want things getting out. You don't want your moment to be spoiled. So yeah, I mean, this is his time to shine. He's going to do it at his school. So I don't think he's probably not going to call coaches until after he makes his decision. So, and that's probably how it's going to go.
That's what I was thinking. Like, this could be a situation where the coaches find out at the same time that everybody else finds out. I remember the DGB recruitment was that way. The Missouri coaches honestly did not know for sure. I mean, they felt good, but they did not know for sure until he committed on live television. And this could be that way. And like Sean said, I mean, the main reason is because if he tells a staff he's coming, even if it's private, somebody on that staff is telling somebody, right? And then that person tells somebody else, and you start to see posts on message boards, and you start to see future casts and things that come out, and that's fine, but a lot of these kids don't want that. A lot of these kids truly want that moment to be the time when everybody finds out. So the only way to keep news and recruiting completely quiet is seriously to tell no one, including the coaches you are committing to or not committing to.
Yeah, I mean, you go back to very recently, Enos Rakestraw, his announcement, it was the same way. He didn't really honestly know if he was going to Missouri or Alabama until he actually got up there and made his decision. And he kind of like, hey.
Can you imagine just walking on stage and really being like, I don't really know what I'm doing yet?
Yeah, he told me, after the fact that, he kind of had his mind made up. He was going to Alabama and then kind of changed his mind that morning, so, and you saw that kind of, led to the Drinkwitz social media reaction. I mean, that was live in person. They honestly did not know until he made the decision. So it's probably going to be like that with Burton.
I would be somewhat interested in seeing the never aired video in an alternate world where Rakestraw chose Alabama. I would like to see Drinkwitz's video, but I don't think that would have probably made social media.
That wouldn't have been as popular in Missouri media for sure.
Yes, Alabama might have enjoyed it. It may still have gone viral, but
yeah.
Justin also wanted to know any updates on Jackson Pruitt. I saw he set a commitment date. To me, he kind of seems like a guy that slipped off the radar a little bit here.
Yeah, a little bit. I know we haven't heard a lot of buzz, a lot of chatter with him, and I'm not really obviously Missouri had, Tyrone Weber, the JUCO O-lineman, in for an official visit. Mm-hmm. So obviously they're still searching for some offensive linemen. I don't know if Jackson Pruitt's kind of a priority for them right now. So we haven't heard anything to say otherwise. No, he visited a couple times, came in camp during the summer, came back during the live July period. And so he's been there a couple times, but it doesn't really seem like he's going to be picking Missouri. But we'll find out a little bit more about that whenever his commitment date gets a little bit closer.
Yeah, and when he released his top 6, I did some checking, and the basic thought was Missouri was kind of wait and see. Like they wouldn't have taken him that day, but by the time he's ready to commit, they might take him. His teammate Dion Walker, somebody told me last week, and I posted it on the message board, he is supposed to be visiting Mizzou this weekend for the A&M game. So, I mean, I think most people still think he's probably staying in state, especially with Michigan and Michigan State both now in the top 10 and playing well. But, I mean, that's a big kid to get on campus and just take your shot with.
Yeah, and I mean that's a kid they had on campus during the summer as well. So that'd be the second time he's been at Missouri. So, and I know we talked about it last week. Missouri kind of liked him as an offensive lineman, but a lot of teams are recruiting him as a defensive lineman as well, defensive tackle. So I don't know if Missouri's open to that. I know during the summer they liked him at O-line, at tackle specifically, but there might be an opportunity there where they say, hey, we've got some needs at defensive tackle along the defensive line, clearly. So that could be a possibility for Walker. And, you got the appeal of SEC. That could be appealing too. But, look, it's, you're from Detroit, the Detroit area. You got Michigan, like you said, Michigan State's playing well. They're both in the top 10. So it's going to be a tough pull for Missouri, but to get him on campus for a big game like that, and we expect this weekend to be a pretty big weekend for visitors and things like that. So to get him back on campus for a second time is a pretty good thing.
Yeah, and I mean, Michigan just tends to be a state where not a lot of kids leave. If they have the in-state options, they generally stay at Michigan or Michigan State unless it's for an Alabama, an Ohio State. I mean, if they leave Michigan, it is generally for a national program. Otherwise, one of those two schools in both sports really generally does a pretty good job of keeping those kids home.
Right. Yeah. I mean, look, if they got those options, especially Michigan, Michigan State, if they got Ohio State, Alabama, yeah, they're probably going to go to those schools. But that's an area, especially the Detroit area, that turns out a lot of talent. They got a lot of talented kids in that area, in that region. So, for a team like, we've seen Missouri pull some kids out of there, but you gotta hope that those kids, maybe, Michigan State's kind of like, maybe they're a little bit lower on the priority list for those teams, and you can pull them away from there. So, but hey, look, the way Drinkwitz is recruiting, you got to recruit against the big boys, and that's what he's doing in this situation. So, you got to take you might take some you're going to take some losses along the way, but to get him back on campus for a second time, even if he does go to Michigan State, I mean, proves that they built a really good relationship to get him back on campus. That's for sure.
Yeah, Duncan wants to know any big recruits in Columbia this past weekend. I don't know if this is sarcasm or like just an honest, like you stumbled upon our show and don't know. I would recommend that you check out a website called powermizzou.com, and we do have some information. But in all seriousness, look, obviously Luther Burden was here. Everybody knows that. Mark Mitchell was here in basketball, but the one that I want to talk about for a couple minutes that you just mentioned is Tyrone Weber, the junior college offensive lineman, originally from Canada, now is, I believe, at New Mexico Military Institute. After the visit to Missouri, set a commitment date for next Monday. So kind of, what do you know about Weber at this point? And then I'll pitch in with a little bit too.
I don't know a whole lot, to be honest with you, because I don't think he does a lot of interviews, or he hasn't on our network. Nobody's really talked to him. I do know he's got a lot of offers. Now, I don't know how many of those are committable, but just going off his recent visits, before he visited Missouri, the weekend before that, he visited Oklahoma State. So obviously it's pretty clear that, Oklahoma State really wants him. So I know a lot of people are, he set a decision date, or supposed decision date, based off the Twitter coming off the Missouri official. Does that mean it's going to be Missouri? We don't necessarily know that for sure. Like I said, Missouri's still kind of, searching for the right fit at offensive lineman, if they want to take another one or two. But it definitely makes you think he's got his mindset, whether that's going to be Oklahoma State or Missouri. We think maybe that's more going to be Oklahoma State at this point, but Gabe, you got anything more to add on that?
Yeah, I think it really is going to come down to whether he can commit to Missouri right now. Because I know everybody tends to see, well, he took an official visit, so obviously Missouri wants him. And a lot of times that's true, but a lot of times these official visits also serve as like, hey, we want to see this kid in person. We want to hang out with him. We want to kind of evaluate him as some way other than film, which is a lot of what was lost last year, honestly. I'll be interested to see how some of these class of 2021 kids pan out across the country, because these kids were never evaluated in person, and that is a big deal for coaches. I mean, I remember I talked to some coaches last year that said, literally, this is recruiting, right? You know the cinder block walls that they have in high schools, generally? Coaches know how tall each of those blocks are. So they would look at pictures of kids standing up against those walls and say, okay, he's like halfway up the 9th block, so he's listed at 6'6", but what that actually means is he's like 6'3". That's how they were having to do things last year. So if they've got a kid that's listed at 6'6", say 310, now they can bring him to campus and they can weigh him and measure him in their weight room. And if that kid that is listed at 6'6", 310 actually comes in and is 6'4", 275, 280, that might make a difference. And I'm not saying that's the case with Tyrone Weber. I'm just saying that these official visits are often used not only for the recruit to assess the school, but also for the school to assess the kid. And so I don't know where Missouri stands on whether they'd take Weber or not. To me, the commitment date being announced right after that visit means one of two things. It means either Missouri will take him and he's committing to Missouri, or Missouri is kind of more like a, hey, let's hold off here just a minute. And he's saying, I don't want to hold off. I'm going to Oklahoma State. That's my read on it. And we will.
You bring up a good point. I mean, official visits, a lot of people are under the, impression that, a lot of these official visits, hey, just because he set a commitment date after his official, like I said, it could go one or two ways. But the official visits nowadays are super important because of measurables, like you said. Look, hey, his profile might say one thing, but his actual height measurement's going to say another
Right.
thing, and that's super important for teams to figure out whenever they get there. And you get, you want to actually get those measurements too. You want to kind of see how he kind of interacts with everybody else. It's really getting to feel the kid. And like there's been plenty of instances where maybe a guy come in that has an offer, takes an official, but then they kind of cool off on him a little bit for various reasons. Like you mentioned, it could be measurables, it could be just the way he interacts with the coaches, the way he's interacting with other visitors that are there. Maybe they just get maybe not the exact right vibe that they're looking for from a kid. So that's why official visits are important. There's a lot of factors that can go into it, and a lot of factors that can maybe, kind of turn a team off a little bit to a kid. So we'll see what happens with Weber. Like I said, you bring up a good point. He's either going to commit to Missouri if they want him, or Missouri's going to say, hey, we're going to wait and hold off. And he's like, hey, I'm going to go to Oklahoma State. I know they want me there. So I think it's definitely going to be one of those two schools. For sure.
Well, and here's the other thing that we can guarantee. A kid who's listed in his high school or JUCO program at 6'5", 310, and then they measure him at 6'3", 280, wherever he signs, he's going to be in that game program next year at 6'6", 320.
Well, yeah, you gotta get off. It's almost like a magician. You gotta give off the illusion that you have size. In some cases.
In football, I generally take off an inch and 10 pounds. In basketball, honestly, I take off like 2 inches. They lie about every kid. They put that kid in those platform jump shoes and say, okay, stand on your tiptoes and we're going to measure you. Like, there are dudes that have played here and have been listed in the program at 6'9" or 6'10" that go to the NBA Combine and they're 6'7". I mean, it's not even close. And every program in the country does it, but,
Now, you talking about, like, platform jump shoes, like Parliament Funkadelic type stuff from the 70s?
No, I'm talking about, like, the ones Jimmy wore on Seinfeld, with the little balls on the front that make you walk on your toes so you strengthen your calves.
I was talking about like the fish tank shoes, like
I got
the disco area.
I got you. They might have those too.
Add like 7 inches to your height on that.
Yeah. All right. So Jake B wants to know about the rumors about Armand Membou flipping. And let me say this. I think that it's a little strong to say there are rumors of him flipping. He got an Iowa offer last night. He visited Iowa City for the Iowa-Penn State game on Saturday. And look, what a hell of a game to be at, right? I mean, that atmosphere was incredible with the stripe stands and all that. Any kid's going to come away from there impressed. Picked up an Iowa offer last night. Our Iowa site talked to him. I posted this on our message board. His direct quote was, I'm not decommitting or anything, but Iowa interests me. I mean, so, yeah, we can start rumors about him flipping, but all we have to go on is last night he said, I'm not decommitting or anything. I mean... So that doesn't mean he won't down the road, but it means for right now he's not. And Missouri's going to get him back on campus for an official visit soon, I'm sure.
Right, and this is a perfect example. Look, he's been committed to Missouri for a while. Look, these 2022 kids, they want to go on other visits. Cool, I mean, he's got a teammate and best friend, Caden Green, who's one of the top offensive linemen in next year's class. I would probably, definitely wanted him, and he's tagging along too. You've got the Mosey kid, that's 2025 athlete, that's also a teammate. They had all three of them on campus. I mean, why not go check out some of these highlight games? If you're Membou, and see what's out there. And if Iowa offers, it's definitely intriguing. And I think if they continue to win. And definitely be an intriguing offer for sure, and give him something to think about. But to say he's going to flip, it's a little
out over the skis here. Yeah, I mean, because here's the thing: crystal balls and future casts, these aren't news. Like it's not. It doesn't mean anything, especially when. And this is not any shade toward the Oklahoma reporter that put in a crystal ball for the kid. I don't even know his name. I don't know who he is. But he covers Oklahoma. Like, he doesn't cover Iowa, and he doesn't cover Missouri, and he's probably never spoken to Armand Membou. So there's also no penalty for him being wrong. At some point this week, we are going to be in touch with Armand, and we will have a quote from him. And the only thing I can promise you is that it will be an actual quote. We will not make one up. We will talk to the kid, and that quote will be what he actually said. So...
What you doing? Some very shady comment there, Gabe.
No. I mean,
was there something that happened yesterday that I'm not aware about?
I've heard rumors of it happening. You're well aware of it. You're the one who showed it to me. So, yeah. But if we have a quote from Armand Membou, I promise he actually said it.
But you bring up a good point, and I didn't know about somebody, I don't know, whatever network put a flip in for him to go to Iowa. Unless
it's not impossible, right? He could at some point.
No, but I don't think it's anything to worry about a flip unless, some Iowa writers start doing it, and then, hey, we'll probably start talking about it and start, legitimately asking questions and asking around about it for sure. But yeah, just some random Oklahoma writer that probably has never spoken to Armand in his life. And it's like, hey, well, he just visited Iowa. He's got an offer. He's going to flip. That's just speculation at that point.
Right. Like crystal balls and future they're great for business. They're great to start conversations. It's a really smart thing for rivals in 247 and everybody else to do. But here's how much they mean. I could literally go onto Oregon's commitment list and predict every kid to go somewhere else. And if I did that, maybe the Oregon Rivals Board is going to go, oh my God, what in the world's happening to our class? Well, nothing. I just got on mine and screwed with you. That's it. And I'm not going to.
Gabe DeArmond that calls mass chaos on the Oregon site.
I'm not going to do it, but I'm just saying we need to not necessarily put quite as much stock in these as we do, and now even some of them have what's your confidence level in it? Like either you think he's going somewhere or you don't think he's going somewhere.
The thing is, we're kind of bagging on crystal ball predictions and stuff like that. But I mean, the same for our FutureCast picks. But the thing with our FutureCast picks, we don't have confidence levels. We either think they're going or they're not, and we got to be 100% confident in those picks. Confidence level picks for predictions is just kind of stupid in my opinion. You either think you're 100% accurate, he's going somewhere, or you're 100% accurate, he's not. So
I'm hedging my bet on the bet that's already hedged and doesn't mean anything. So
right, but that's the thing too. You talk about some Oklahoma writer put in a flip for Membou to Iowa. You have to research the source. And we just talked about it. Has this writer even talked to Membou? Probably not. Yeah. He's just making a speculation. When Iowa writers start doing it, that's when you got to kind of maybe hit the panic button a little bit and worry a little bit if you're Missouri fans.
I wish there were confidence levels in actual gambling. Like, I would bet games every weekend. I would call up. I'd be like, yo, I want Iowa -3.5 against Penn State. But it's only a confidence level of 2. So if I lose, I don't have to actually pay you. That'd be cool.
It's definitely a good way to get out of that.
Right.
For sure.
I'd like that. So Ryan wants to know if there's any more Gentry Williams news. I don't have anything more than what we had last week, which is Missouri is a bigger factor here than we initially thought, and then most people initially thought. They would like to get him on campus before he makes his announcement, which is next Monday. Sean, to me, if he is here this weekend, it does not mean Missouri is getting him, but it means they have a chance. If he is not here this weekend, book it. He's going to Oklahoma.
Right, and I think the thing that's really kind of flown under the radar throughout his entire recruiting process, and maybe not in our opinion because we know about it, we've mentioned it before, but I think a lot of people don't take for granted his relationship with Aaron Fletcher, which, obviously he was at Tulsa. He's got a lot of family ties. His family and Gentry Williams' family is really tight. Yeah. So I think a lot of people don't realize and don't really, consider that a major factor. But obviously it is. I said, we've heard Missouri is a pretty good player here. Now, does he end up coming here? Look, if he comes this weekend, hey, like you said, that's big, but still not I wouldn't say a huge amount of confidence that he would end up at Missouri, but hey, look, that would say a lot if he comes to Missouri this weekend for the A&M game before he makes his decision. Now, I think ultimately he will end up at Oklahoma, but hey, look, we'll see what happens this weekend if he shows up, and we'll kind of continue. But yeah, the relationship with Aaron Fletcher is kind of like I said, it's been a huge factor throughout his recruiting process. He's been here twice. I think he was here twice during the summer. So
yeah. And all right, so Sean's internet is giving him some trouble, so we're gonna let him go for good now. But yeah, Gentry Williams, I talked to him in March in Tulsa. Oh, hey, now Sean's back. This is fun, man.
Yeah, Chris Lee was calling me.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah. You just you went away and then you're back. But no, but I interviewed Gentry in person in Tulsa in March. And, I mean, he walked in that day to the weight room in an Oklahoma football shirt. You know, I mean,
right.
So I am saying officially that I would go future cast of Gentry Williams to Oklahoma with a confidence level of 7. If he does not visit Missouri this weekend, I say confidence level of 9 to Oklahoma.
I would go, I was going to say, if right now my confidence level in Oklahoma would probably be 8. So I would be more confident on my level than you, Gabe. So
this is cool. We're going to start doing the confidence level segment of this show every week. I enjoy this. All right. So last thing I wanted to finish up with you, you know, obviously you talked to Sam Horn after his visit. I mean, this is how even high-profile kids, they tend to, once they've committed, kind of fall off the radar a little bit. You know, I mean, Sam was in town, but this is not a drama kid. He is coming to Missouri, and there's really not any question about that.
No, pretty much very confident in his answers. Very confident that he's coming to Missouri. Love the interaction with the coaches and talking about the offense and how he can fit in. And was really excited about being able to kind of see the behind the scenes look of what it's like on game day and things like that. And obviously, I asked him about the defense because obviously that's a glaring issue with Missouri. And Sam, he kind of chuckled a little bit, about the question. He's like, I know the defense is kind of an issue, but the coaches are very open about it. They know it's an issue. They kind of address what they're going to do about it and try to solve the issues. So it's not something that they're trying to hide. Right. They're being very upfront and honest with me about it. And but said, a lot of the focus was about the offense, being a quarterback in that system and how he would fit in. And look, he said, hey, my main objective was to enjoy my official visit. He said, also my other objective was to recruit Luther Burden, and he hung out with him Saturday. He hung out with him Sunday, him and his family. They were there. Luther Burden and his family were there Saturday and Sunday, hanging out with Sam Horn. Said he got a really, really good vibe from Luther. Said they really hit it off really well whenever they initially met in person. Obviously he's been recruiting him through social media and stuff like that. But yeah, he said he's got a really good vibe. So, ultimately it's going to be his decision wherever he wants to go, whether that's Georgia or Missouri. But he said he really thought his family and Luther had a really good time this weekend. So really good stuff from Sam. And he's, he, like I said, we mentioned before, he doesn't do a lot of interviews, doesn't like to do them, but he was gracious enough to do it for us because he took the official a little bit different this time around. He said he really loved, even though he's seen everything, in his previous visits, he liked it. Everybody was there. All the students were there. Everything was open. All the fans were there the game day. Everybody downtown after the game, before the game. So he really loved the campus environment there at Missouri. And he's really looking forward to being up there. Like I said, he's going to play football. He's going to play baseball too. So that's very important for him as well.
Yeah, so good on Missouri for taking our advice and bringing Horn and Burden in on the same weekend. And just kind of to wrap up, and I posted this on the message board, but the most important thing he said, and this is not the direct quote, but it is the gist of it, that Eli Drinkwitz is recruiting kids who have these other big-time offers by saying, look, you can join something that's already established, or you can come and you can be the reason it's established here. And that, I've said for years, there's only 2 pitches. We're on top, help keep us there. We're not on top, help get us there. Those are the only 2 recruiting pitches other than we'll get you a whole lot of name, image, and likeness money that are ever used. So that's what they're using. Yeah. So go ahead.
No, you bring up a good point, and he kind of used the example of A&M beating Alabama because they were, Horn said they were actually watching that game, and Drinkwitz said, hey, you can could be that for us. What A&M just did to Alabama, you
Mm-hmm.
could be that for us in the future. So that's I mean, he really liked that message. Just trying to bring everybody in and make Missouri become a viable contender in the SEC.
Yeah. So, okay, Sean, this is, I think, our last live recruiting show before Luther Burden's announcement next Tuesday. So I'm going to provide you the platform to officially make your confidence factor prediction if you would like to do so. Also, your internet can just cut out again if you want it to.
Put me on the spot now. I don't care, man. Right now, man, just because he hasn't went to Georgia yet. Right now, I would put Missouri as my pick. Confidence level. I would go with a confidence level of 7 right now.
Ooh, okay, all right.
So
I refuse to answer. I'm not answering that question, so it's all on Sean.
Show, it's your rules, whatever, man. I don't care.
All right, man. Appreciate it, and we'll be in touch.
All right, man.
All right, Sean Williams joining us for the Tuesday recruiting show, as he always does. And the plan, look, next Tuesday again, we're going to do a show. Whether we do this and then drive to East St. Louis, whether we do this show live from East St. Louis, we don't know the plans yet. It depends on when Luther Burden's announcement is, what exactly happens there. But we are going to have a show for you next week. We are also going to have coverage of Luther Burden's announcement. Wanted to save the one basketball question real quick before we go. Wanted to let Sean go, but Kyle is asking, any % chance of getting Mark Mitchell? There's always a % chance. It's not 0. It's not above 10. Most people seem to think he's going to UCLA. If not UCLA, Duke. Missouri and Kansas seem to be kind of included here in the final group, but unlikely. I saw that he plans a December announcement, so you never know what can change between now and then. But no, we don't feel super optimistic about Missouri's chances of Landon Mitchell, who was the number 11 player in the country and was in town for his second official visit to Missouri last weekend. Also will visit Kansas, Duke, and UCLA. So that's that. I've got Eli Drinkwitz's press conference starting in 58 minutes, so I've got to get set up and get over for that. Thanks to you guys for participating and being here this week. If you're watching with us live, hit the like button before you leave. If you are listening on the replay on the podcast, just give the podcast a good review, leave a nice comment, tell everybody how incredible we are and how we managed to take technical issues in stride and get through them. Speaking of taking issues in stride and getting through them, Brandon Barnes is going to do that with you. Look, there may be hiccups here and there when you're looking for a mortgage, when you're looking for a refinance, but Brandon's going to be able to talk you through all those issues. He's going to be able to get you through the process. He's got the best rates in town. He's got the best customer service in town. He's a Mizzou fan. He's a supporter of PowerMizzou.com. So that's everything you need right there. If you need a new mortgage, a refinance, whether you're moving, whatever it is, hit up Brandon Barnes, bbarnes at usa-mortgage.com. Showmemortgage.com for free online, rate check. And yeah, just give Brandon a shot at your business. You won't regret it. One of the best guys I've gotten to know in the last 20 years doing this, and he will take care of you on that front. We'll take care of you on the recruiting front and on the covering Missouri front and all that. Be off to Eli Drinkwitz's press conference shortly. Thanks for watching. Talk to you guys later.